Hello and welcome, my name is Charlie Roscoe, and I don't normally like to make complaining videos. It's just not really what my channel is about, and I normally hold the view that whinging is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do for a bit, but it doesn't really get you anywhere. So the fact that I made this should hopefully indicate how strongly I feel about the current penalty system in Gran Turismo Sport. So during a stream I did last night, I did the FIA Manufacturers Series and Nations Cup. Both of my races were completely ruined by penalties that, quite frankly, were complete bullshit. But I want to make note that this video isn't based solely on that stream. I've had a few garbage penalties recently. I normally brush these off, especially on stream, but they came in so thick and fast last night that it became the straw that broke the camel's back. Personally, I believe the penalty system is one of, if not, the most important game mechanic in ensuring GT Sport has a prosperous future. That and some more bloody tracks, but I digress. GT Sport has never pretended it's anything other than a competitive online racing game. It launched with near as makes no difference, no single player, and whilst it did add it in later, for free I might add, which is pretty great, it still wouldn't sustain itself for most as a single player game. Working on making the penalty system at least decent should be Polyphony Digital's primary objective above all else, except maybe adding some more tracks, but I digress. Now, I'm not a game developer, so I'm not going to pretend that I know how easy or hard it is to get a system like this right. But if the game knows when your wheels are spinning and can apply some traction control, and it knows when you're losing the rear end and can apply some counter steering assist, then how the hell can it not know that you've spun, slammed into a wall, uncontrollably sharted back onto the racing line, and not apply a penalty to the poor sap who arrives at the scene of the accident and runs into you? But let's start off slowly with one that doesn't involve any other competitors. This one was all my mistake. I ran wide, got up on the curb, it shot me to the inside, put me on the grass. I was flat out keeping control of the vehicle, and I definitely did not gain any advantage to the competitor in front of me. In fact, I lost quite a lot of time to him over the course of the straight. Now it's time to get into the real juicy stuff. In this one here, I was simply trying to go around the outside. The other two cars were having a bit of a battle. I stuck to the outside of the track. He moved across on me, hit me into the wall, and I ended up with a penalty out of it. It was only a second, but nonetheless, it was still a penalty for something I had absolutely no control over. Next up, Captain Arseface was having his own problems down into the dipper. I didn't go for an overtake, but I did find myself on the outside of him, to which he gave me a couple of little nudges that was enough to unsettle my car, shot me around into the wall, and whilst it was hard to see, I did actually get a 1 second penalty for the pleasure of this experience. And finally, I'll move on to my two favourite penalties of the evening, both of which involve somebody else crashing, me unavoidably getting caught up in the incident and copping massive penalties for it. First up, we've got Captain Ballbag Chin in the GTR who runs out way too wide, slams into the wall, moves back across to the racing line. At that speed, I don't have a lot of hope, but I got on the brakes as hard as I possibly could without losing control. I was never going to not hit the back of him, and for the pleasure of that one, I got a whopping 10-second race-destroying penalty. But I've saved my favourite for last, and in this one I really had absolutely no hope of avoiding this accident. I was pinned between a wall on my left hand side and a car who had gone well outside the track limits, lost control, came back across the track facing completely the wrong direction to slam into the wall himself. There was no way I was ever going to be able to avoid hitting this car, and again for that one I got a fantastically awesome 10-second penalty. Now, I'm not saying that a penalty system this flawed will kill Gran Turismo Sport, but I'm not saying that either. Of course, some extra tracks would help, but I digress. I'm keen to hear about your own experiences in the comments. On a fairly rare salt-filled Charlie Roscoe video, I feel like now is the best time to vent your spleens. If you agree there needs to be a major rework of the penalty system, please hit the like button. The more support this video gets, the more of a chance it has of becoming a suggested video to the people who need to see it. Thank you all very much for watching. Bye for now.